That's a fine-looking ship. There's people inside it wouldn't think of the thousands of miles they'll be traveling. But I know where my journey is taking me right enough. The people here do their fill of talking, behind their doors to be sure, and they say the old man's touched with his notion of walking the River Lee to its source at Gougane Barra. Well, their talk won't hurt me. I'll have my pilgrimage to remember in the winter. There is a green island in lone Gougane Barra where a lure of songs rushes forth as an arrow. In deep Valley Desmond, 1,000 wild fountains come down to that lake from their home in the mountains. That's great poetry. How oft when the summer sun rested on Clara and lit the dark heat on the hills of Ivera, have I sought thee, sweet spot, from my home by the ocean, and trod all thy wilds with a minstrel's devotion. Have I yet remembered right, Heaven? When the tempest flings out its red banner of lightning, and the waters rush down with the thunder's deep rattle, like clans from their hills at the voice of the battle, and brightly the fire-crested billows are gleaming, and wildly from Mulla the eagles are screaming. Oh, where is the dwelling in valley or highland so meet for the bard as this lone little island? I always loved history and stories and all that sort of thing. When I was a lad, I'd be forever poking around all ruins and roving. Didn't my pals call me the walking stick? Well, I'm in luck today. What a fine young woman to give me a lift. She's like that English friend of Mary's in Hammersmith. What was she called? London's a long way off from this place. How long is it? 8 years since I've been home. Paddington Station. Oh, dear God, how many green lads have you carried over like me, thinking of the jobs they'd be learning and the money they'd be sending home? Then you bring them back and they're changed into boasting blackguards and broken old men. And all this just to be able to sing Bool of Og over a pint of stout in Camden Town. And when you're home that last time, is anyone the better for it? Would any damn thing be different if you'd stayed instead of going over? Grand girl, that one. A grand girl. Dear grey old Cork. Alone on my own on Patrick's Bridge. Alone on my own. What's this? Foundation laid. I better cross the road quick or the traffic will have me. It was all canals and waterways here one time. Before that, I suppose, nothing only bogs and birds. Then St. Finbar came down the river, started his school and chapel. And thus grow fonder, sweet Cork of thee, with thy bells of Shandon, that sound so grand on the best to know. I wonder would he listen to that other rhyme on Shandon? My way of telling it. Party-coloured like its people is Shandon Church and its steeple. But where's the people would rather eat a gold-gilt fish to spuds and mate? It was nothing, only the blather of a returned Corkman. The heart can listen easy when you've a city left behind you. But what can trees and water be saying when the memories are shouting inside still? When I remember all the friends so linked together, I've seen around me fall like leaves in wintry weather. I feel like one who treads alone some banquet hall deserted, whose lights are fled, whose garlands dead, and all but he departed. That's enough of that now. There was a song I knew once. What was it called? One, the Heifer. Lás mén rochad bóndan éana cart na sauna, is mishavís an omsan gan onwar na ga. The milking machine was a great idea, they all said. Don't I remember when Uncle Mike had the farm, and he'd send one of us in. The cows could be very obstinate, all right, but with the milking machine they seemed to be very free, and the man would be half an hour now doing the job where he'd be 2 hours before. Is near agus knuck na sléite na bóhire cúnga cála, a bhaidemach vaile con a tuairiscí ail. Sé deradís le chéile, ní a nímí tú nachar, ciúc a fear a chuig stréhu, nó réca bocht fáin. Bishop MacEgan, there's bravery for you. A man who'd sooner be hanged than order the men inside to go over to Cromwell. dóch stiosfor a fáin lísio gwael adraf sir, na tolca cirwo baratingach gan cio gan niamh. Níl inse cael yn y tríf na pór brariar, ac bara frí charig wyd agus mo fóswn dír. The Mass Rock, author of the Penal Times. Mass was said here 1640 to 1800. It is like as if the tree itself had put it there. This was only a path above the river then, I'm sure. And while the priest was saying Mass, they'd all be listening for the crack of a branch or a bird rising up. By the lea at soft allure, goss and heather grow together. I wonder would Finbar have made the same journey as me today in the pure water cooling his thoughts. But maybe he'd have stayed in Connacht all along, in his home. It's above after the turn, surely. There it is. But isn't it more like a ship tied up in the mist than an island? Here stood in the 6th century the cell of St. Finbar, first Bishop of Cork. It is a peaceful place for any man.